everybody. Welcome to the Uninformed Banker. I'm Gerald, and today we have John, who is currently stationed in England, with us today. Oh. So we've talked about London. We've talked about South Korea.
Here's another one. You mentioned Kuwait,
Mm-hmm.
another place I had the pleasure of being, pleasure or displeasure. I'm not 100% sure where I stand on it yet. I did get a chance to deploy to Kuwait a few years back. Dude, that is the wildest place I think I've ever been in my life. It's like the Wild West out there. It is absolutely, there are no rules. Like, I didn't feel safe there at all. Yet I also
Probably
felt
smart.
very safe. It was so weird. I was in a job there where my duties every day involved driving off the base outside the wire. And I'm driving like a 15 passenger van on the highways of Kuwait, which is the most treacherous and like high speed white knuckle situation I've ever been in. You're doing 100 miles an hour down a dusty, sandy highway with people on your ass in Lamborghinis flashing their lights at you, literally passing you on soft dirt shoulders, bumping you out of the way. It was like Need for Speed, the video game, but in real life,
With
in
a
the
lot more
desert,
dust.
in a van. Dude, it was absolutely crazy. Smelliest country I've ever been to for sure. Korea was a close second, probably because they burn all their trash and shit in Kuwait. But yeah, man, that place is crazy. Some of the coolest bazaars I ever went to, like shops, bazaars, interesting restaurants, crazy malls. I saw a dude with a tiger once. People drive 100 miles an hour down the highway just with goats and camels in the back of their pickup trucks, not even strapped down. They're just standing there smiling at you. It was a crazy place, man. Also very hot. But dude, when you deploy like that though, a lot of times it really sucks. Obviously, it's 150 degrees and you're doing arduous duties and stuff like that, but you make really close friends, a lot of whom I still talk to this day. You make really close enemies, the people that work on your ships that you absolutely cannot stand. But yeah, man, Kuwait was interesting. Just another notch in my belt, a place that a lot of people won't ever get to really visit. So that is one of the things I love about my job is South Korea, the UK, anybody can go there. Who's going to Kuwait really? Probably not happening. So yeah, just
Yeah.
another notch in the belt, man.
So I got a question.
Okay.
With all your travels, you must have had like, what's your like wildest or like the story that springs to mind that like, because you've told me a lot of like experiences like on a broad stroke,
Hmm.
like the story that springs to mind when I go all the places you've traveled so far, because I can guarantee that either probably your girlfriend has some travels planned for when you can go to like France, etc., and stuff like that. Because can't you? Isn't there like an underground?
Yeah, there actually is. It's called the Channel. It's an underground train tunnel that you park
Tunnel?
your car on a train, and it drives you right into Calais, France. It's pretty cool. I haven't had the opportunity to use it yet.
So you bring your car.
Yeah, you can bring your car. You park it onto like a bay on this train, and it takes you across.
That's
I
cool.
don't think you have to take your car. I'm pretty sure you can have it like a passenger seat only, but you can take your car and you drive right off, and boom, you have your car in France. It's
And
pretty
then you
cool.
can hit like every. I mean, if you wanted to make a thing about it, you can hit
Exactly. Go to
all of Europe.
Belgium
But
and
yeah,
Italy. Yeah, exactly. That's definitely on the radar. Something I want to do for
J-
sure. It,
Jason said that Prague was fun.
Prague is something I keep hearing people talking about, and it's definitely someplace that I want to go to. Is yeah, that's another one that a lot of people probably haven't been to that people should be going to.
Yeah, because you know Jason, and he was out there for something with his college, and he was like, "Yeah, Prague was wild and weird and really fun." And he was like telling
Yeah,
me about their nightclubs and stuff, and how it's just an entirely different, like, what?
yeah, man. Prague sounds like a crazy place, honestly. Dude, as far as crazy travel stories, I'm trying to think, and they're not coming to me off the top of my head. Oh man, I feel ashamed of myself for not having something wild to say.
I was gonna say you
I
just
mean,
told me you saw a guy with a tiger, and now you can't think of a story.
yeah, well,
I'm
that was
joking.
literally, dude. Yeah, no, that was literally he was driving a Lamborghini and he had a tiger in the passenger seat, literally in the parking lot of some mall, and that's just how Kuwait was. That's just how
That's.
Kuwait was. It was absolutely bananas. Oh, God, I'm trying to think.
I'll give you a moment to think while I tell you about this. That's
Yeah,
basically what.
I'm gonna grab a beer too.
Okay.
You can go ahead. I got my pauses. I'm listening.
Oh, okay. So basically, my like bosses and stuff have all been to these places because we're doing a lot of our business in the Gulf for investors as well as London and the US. Um, and they were telling me that it's like you might see a guy with, like you said, a Lamborghini and one on right next to a guy that doesn't have two pennies to rub together. He said the like
100%.
he said the gaps are like the income inequality in America is bad, but over there it's like the systems are designed like the people that deal with the US and all the investors and stuff like that are just designed to keep like the ruling, I guess, groups or companies. It's like a lot more, it's not distributed well, I guess is what I should
Yeah.
say. It's like there's not really a trickle down, which a lot of people say that that doesn't really happen, but it happens a little bit better here. There's really not a trickle down there. And like a lot of the contracts are designed so that just the ruling people, like they'll have a state investment fund, which is supposed to benefit the state. And that's where they invest in like companies and this and that to get our technology over there. But what ends up happening is like, yeah, the state will invest, but the profits actually go to the rulers of it. So it's because some of the countries over there, they still have like, all right, this is the king. Um, and I know in Kuwait, it's a little bit better. Just from talking to a few people over there from some of the other places that we're dealing with. Saudi Arabia. Um, and because it's just a little bit easier to like deal with companies over there, but we literally couldn't get to the company because they don't allow like IP addresses from other countries to like talk to some of the companies. Like their firewalls are ridiculous. It's like controlled, but
Interesting.
it's not controlled. It's really weird over there.
That
Um,
is strange.
but but just the income inequality is like you'll just see someone, I'm like, why don't you make a road so you can drive your Lamborghini correctly? And
Yeah, seriously. Dude, their infrastructure is just awful.
yep. And but they'll do ridiculous things. Like they're now trying to make this city that has zero taxes. It's supposed to be like a port type thing. So it's going to have like to draw all this money into their country. So you're not going to have any taxes, no import, export taxes to get everyone to buy into this city for like, but it only lasts for like, I think 50 years only, I say. And I'm like, wait a minute. So at the end of those 50 years, you guys just jack up the prices now that all these companies are embedded there. And there's like a lot of initiatives like that out there.
Sounds sketchy.
Like, yeah, we said no to that. And, but I just from people, because I know a few people that deal with shipping out there, like they literally go on the cruises out there with those guys, mostly in oil. And they're like, yeah, it's really weird. You'll have like just a really nice place, and then you have a place where they don't have toilet paper.
Dude, seriously. In Kuwait, I did. You said it was better, and maybe it is now. But when I was there, you'd see a Ferrari or a Lamborghini driving down the street next to a literal slum, like where people are tossing shit out the windows. It was crazy there.
I
It's
just
like
meant
they say.
in
Go ahead.
comparison. Sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely, yeah, better in comparison to what it was. I'm sure a while ago. I think they say in America it's like 99% or 1% of the people hold 99% of the wealth. In a lot of those Middle Eastern, Southeastern
A
Asian
lot of
countries,
people.
yeah, there's five. Yeah, it's got to be 99.999% of the people, or 1%, 0.00001% of the people that hold 99.99999% of the wealth. It's just absolutely crazy, and it definitely shows. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a wild place. And as far as crazy stories, man, my weirdest ones are probably from Kuwait, just because of the nature of that place.
Mhm.
Um, I remember one time I was on shift. The I'll tell you a funny work story first. So it's so stupid because I'm an adult man, so this should never have happened. So I was on shift. I had a duty vehicle. It was just me and a couple of foreigners, so like Kuwait, Pakistan, like all people from around that area that were contracted. So I was working with them, and everybody was doing their thing, and they say don't trust a fart. They say don't trust a fart. Here I am, it's 130 degrees. I'm out in my truck. I'm armed. Like, I'm not in a good position to go take a poo. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna trust this bad boy. And I literally shit myself on duty in Kuwait. And it was literally the worst day of my life. So I had to radio back to control. And I was literally, I gave my call sign. I'm like, we had an actual code for bathroom emergency. I forget what it was. I have the card somewhere, but so it's like control, control, chowder. Chowder was my call sign. It's a Boston reference. Ah, that's some wicked hot chowder. Control, control, chowder. Code Brown at location Bravo, and they had to rush somebody out to come relieve me so I could go into the bathroom and scrub out my uniform pants, toss my underwear in the trash, and get back on shift. Dude, I'm an adult man.
At least they had a code so you didn't have to describe it. Like, what happened?
On the airways, I just shit myself. Please send help. Yeah, luckily there was a code.
Can you repeat
that?
I
never thought, yeah. When they sent us those cards, the cards with all of the radio codes, I was like, bathroom emergency, who's really going to use that? And guess who ended up using that?
Fuck, I did it.
Yeah, man. Also, while I was in Kuwait, there was one time my buddy and I, one of my good friends that I still talk to, we kind of snuck off, and we ended up finding this, I think, abandoned Kuwait air power museum. So the door was like kind of ajar. So we slipped in and we're exploring this museum just with like old, dusty airplane skeletons, old, weird statues. It was so creepy. I can't imagine that this place had been open to the public in probably 15 years. And it was just one of those situations where it was so eerie, like in a scary movie, when you're almost certain somebody's going to pop out and attack you or something. We were like, dude, we were like hands on our pistols, like walking through this place. Like at one point, I almost fucking drew that thing. It was absolutely crazy.
Unload a few rounds in like a plane.
Yeah.
I swear there was someone in
there. We were like climbing on the exhibits and shit, like getting in the fake planes and helicopters. Absolutely should not have been there. Absolutely should not have. I'm in some old Kuwaiti Apache style helicopter, just like getting my picture taken. It was so dumb, dude. Yeah, dude. It was definitely a highlight. It was definitely a highlight for sure. But yeah, man, it's not a lot of crazy stories. That
sounds cool. Like that's what I meant.
That was that is definitely, it's up there. As far, I haven't had anything crazy happen in England yet, because I haven't.
That's actually good, and England's also been shut down.
Yeah, it is. So typically the crazy stuff happens when the alcohol's involved, and I've been going out more to explore than to drink lately. There was a few crazy times in Korea as well. We went into Seoul on New Year's, 2019 into 2020, and Seoul's a really cool city, man. It's broken up into like sub cities, like a lot of big cities in America. They have like the boroughs within them. And we were in a city called Hongdae, which is kind of like a bougie not up and coming. It's like a bougie, fancy kind of place. So we were out at a cigar bar, smoking cigars, fancy, having whiskeys. Yeah.
Wow.
And then we get back to our beat. Dude, that cigar bar is one of my favorite places on earth. It was awesome. You can get a real Cohiba and get a little Johnny Walker and just chill.
I need someone to teach me how to smoke a cigar.
Oh, bro, I can do that. That's easy. It's honestly not a bad learning curve at all. I'm sure there's like extreme delicacies and tendencies that you're supposed to do, but like
they were like, don't inhale, and I'm like, what?
Dude, if you inhale a cigar, you're having a bad time. But there are basic steps that you need to follow for sure, but it's not hard. Yeah, man, don't inhale a cigar twice. You're a freaking idiot, like, dude. It burns so bad.
Oh, it did.
That's one of the worst feelings. Yeah, your body instantly rejects it without a second chance.
I'm like, I never normally puke from alcohol. I normally pass out.
My man's out here inhaling cigars. It's crazy. But anyway, so we finished our cigars and we're like, well, we're not really done for the night. We had a coffee late in the day, so we're like kind of up and awake. And my buddy's like, you want to go get massages? He had just broken up with his girlfriend. Now in Seoul, Korea, getting a massage is, not like getting a massage in America. So I personally was like, hey man, I'm not sure if I'm going to be involved in you prostituting a woman. in a foreign country when we're here, on orders. I don't think I'm going to be involved. But two of my friends went anyway, and they came back and they're like, yeah, it was not even, there was no facade. You just walked in and it was just immediate sex. So
It's like,
there
actually, I
was
had something on my
various,
shoulder. Can you?
yeah. I actually had an impingement. Yeah. Could you please? So, dude, stuff like that. Korea is wild for that. I did order a home massage once when I didn't really know I
Yeah.
didn't know the vibe, and towards the end, I was like, man, that was a really shitty massage. And she's like, and that was that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, Korea was really cool. Definitely want to go back, and there's definitely more potential for a lot of crazy shit to happen in Korea. That's where people really go ham. While I was there, one of the army guys at a base not down the street, but a couple miles away, carjacked a taxi. He assaulted the taxi driver and then stole the taxi. That's a real story that happened while I was there. It's not a joke.
Like
the army's out here just causing trouble, man. He legitimately fought a taxi driver, like cold cocked him and stole his taxi. So that's the kind of stuff that happens in Korea. You got to be careful out there. One thing that blows my mind, though, the value of our money in other places. There are some places where we can go and I can buy the hotel I'm staying in with my savings account, and I'm staying and eating there for $10 a day.
Mm-hmm.
That just blows my mind, man. Places like the Philippines, where you can go and literally get a full 5-course dinner for $4 on the street. Like, yeah, dude, it's absolutely crazy to me. Here is very expensive.
I was going to say it's like a third more because I signed up for that course. I'm like, oh, okay, it's only 2,200, and then like it got to the thing out, and it was like, all right, now
that's pounds.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, man. Most things are like a 1-to-1. So what costs $10 in the United States usually costs £10 here, but that 10 pounds is $14.
Like
yeah, 100%. It's expensive out here. Luckily, the Air Force does give us a cost of living pay
allowance.
that they allowance that they adjust based on inflation rates. So it balances out to an extent. Yeah, it is. But yeah, it is expensive out here. Definitely not like Korea. Korea was very cheap. Kuwait was very cheap.
Like Norway is worse.
Dude, the Norway, like Sweden, Denmark,
like the kroner and stuff like that.
Those places, it's $26 for
like a slice of pizza.
Or a fast food meal at McDonald's.
Seriously. That's what Dad was saying. He was there. He got a slice of pizza and a Sprite, and he was like, "Yeah, it was $25 or something."
I want to go there so bad, but one of my friends is telling me, "I've been there. Don't go. It's not worth it.
You're gonna spend your entire life savings."
Yeah, just on food. You're gonna spend $1,000 on food if you're there for a week. That just doesn't sound appetizing to me.
So you're hoping Uncle Sam sends you there.
Yeah. I mean, if he did that, I don't think we have any bases up there, but if they if they could figure that out, yeah, that is very true. Yeah, I think we have bases pretty much everywhere established where there's a tactical advantage at the moment, at least. So
that's like
they're probably not looking to expand too much.
We're around the world,
right? So, like for example, RAF Mildenhall, the base that's down the street from mine, they're known as like the Air Force gas station. So they're strategically located where anybody flying from the U.S. to overseas, say there's a jet in the, they can, no, they don't even stop. That's the cool thing about the Air Force, man. We meet them up in the sky and refuel them in the sky, but it's based out of Mildenhall.
I heard they're trying to do that with drones now. You may not be able to confirm or deny.
I haven't heard that. It wouldn't surprise me.
They're trying to do it with like really fighters first, which to me really that makes sense that they can do that because it's just either have them link up. Like I feel like a drone would be a better refuel than, no offense to the people that do actually do this, than a person, because I know I'd screw it up.
Well, I would say, I don't know. It depends. It's like, is Tesla better at driving itself than a human is at driving it? I don't know.
I know there are certain things that me driving.
Yeah, definitely. There are certain things that a computer can account for. Now, if you have somebody obviously controlling the drone, that is a different story. Like if they're controlling all of it, or if there's any portions that are autonomous or whatever, what have you. But we've been in-flight refueling for a long time as something that we take pride in and that we're very good at. But I can see them also extending that to drones. I don't see why they couldn't. Yeah. The actual refueling tube itself is remote controlled. Oh. So it's just the plane that is.
You just have to get them like close and like match speed.
Yeah. Yeah. You get them close. You get into a nice cruising speed. And yeah, there's a big long tube that the refueler drops out, and then they control it from inside the aircraft. They get it stuck into the fuel port, and bada bing, bada boom,
I
start
remember
the flow.
I watched a YouTube video about like refueling, and it was like all these clips like of because they have to just sit there and like talk to the other crew, and those would be like, "You want to hear a knock knock joke?"
Yeah,
Like
I'm
you're
sure it is
flying
dumb.
an F-15 and you're going, "Want to hear a knock knock joke?"
I mean, what else are you gonna do?
I mean, to their credit. And then there was like one crew that was like they were on a long trip or something like that. I don't know what it was, but they were on a bigger plane. That's all I know. And you may be able to confirm or deny this. Are they allowed to take like food on there?
On planes?
Yeah, like the big planes.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he was talking
There
about
are
how he
big
had like some
planes.
hot pockets cooking in the back,
Yeah, so
and I
say
didn't
a
know they
B
had
50.
microwaves. Like that's why I was
Yeah.
like,
Um, it's not even a microwave per se. So let's see. Which one does
I
my
swear,
buddy
if he
work
just
on?
puts it on the engine, that's a little starts
So we'll take
popping.
a look at like the B-2 bomber. It's a
Mhm.
big bomber, but there's kitchen facilities within it because of
What?
the lengths of the missions that you go on. It's not anything. It's not
Not
even like hotel
fancy.
kitchen that we're talking about. I'm talking like probably easy bake oven style, like
Yeah.
size, where you have little packaged meals that you can toss in there.
Mhm.
But yeah, you can definitely get hot food on those planes for sure. Bathroom facilities, they don't have. That's a shit bucket, but they do have cooking
Just
facilities
out the
on those for
Bombay door.
yeah, yeah, no, dude, they have buckets. I'm not even joking.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah, they got little bucket situations in there.
That
But
sounds
yeah, man,
terrible. Not gonna
the
lie.
cooking thing, yeah, that's legit from your buddy. He's not joking about that one.
Yeah, he was talking about like hot pockets. I'm like, I don't know
I'm
that
sure
plane
you could
had
do a
those
hot
on.
pocket in there. Yeah, it's probably I've not seen one. I have a buddy that works in inside an aircraft that has described it. I assume it's probably very similar to, excuse me,
It's
to
like a
just a
toaster
commercial
oven.
airline. I would say like a commercial airline oven because you know how they have those little. I mean, you've seen the meals that they serve on aircrafts. They stick them in this little tiny oven that's this big, and
Mhm.
then it's good to serve. So I'm sure it's similar.
I had an experience with an airline that kind of put me off from flying for a while. I still haven't been
Really?
back on one.
Oh man,
You've heard of snakes on a plane,
of course, Sam Jackson.
obviously, Sammy J. But so I'm between my mom and my dad. I'm strapped in. I got the little table down. Everyone's got the things closed and it's kind of dark. I got my light on. Someone opened an overhead bin and a baby scorpion fell directly in the middle of the light. So
Are you serious?
I'm shit you not. So I'm
Oh my
strapped
god.
in. I'm strapped in. I can't go left or right. There's a baby scorpion, which I've never seen before because I'm from New England and we don't have those.
Not really. No.
Yeah. And I go, "Ah!" And I go like this. I had an empty cup and I just trapped it. But now I'm sitting there with a trapped baby scorpion on my tray and I can't do anything. So I'm ringing the call button like there's no tomorrow. I'm just,
Somebody please help me.
yeah. The guy comes over and while it's sitting there, I go, well, at least it's only a baby. It looks really small. He goes, oh, like the thing's still there. He goes, oh, well, the babies are really dangerous because the adults save some of their venom. The
Yeah. Oh, I've
babies
heard that.
send all of their venom, so they could
Yeah,
kill
they
you.
just full send. They
Yeah,
just bust their whole load right into your fucking blood.
exactly. He's like, yeah, those things can kill you. I'm like, dude, it's
Dude,
still under the
that
cup. Like,
it's right here.
like
That's crazy.
so he like slides a napkin under it and then like takes it away. But while the napkin's going under, I'm afraid it's gonna get out, get pissed that we put it in a cup, and start
Yo,
just
yeah.
yeah.
That's crazy, man. I can understand why you would be timid. I
I'll
think
definitely
that's
go on a
something
plane again, to be honest. But
yeah, I was gonna say I think that's something I'd be able to get over eventually.
oh,
But
it
that is
wasn't like
terrifying.
scarring, but I know I'm
Yeah,
gonna think about it the next time I go on.
hundred percent.
I just haven't had the opportunity. I might have the opportunity this year to take a trip to actually a lot of places. Because we're trying to close our fund, and when you're giving people that much money, you're supposed to meet them in person.
Meet him
Uh,
face to face, yeah.
yeah,
Business trips, yeah.
no, real like you're supposed to meet them in person to meet these guys.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
but they want us to go to some countries where I'm like, I want to visit that, but I feel like I could get shot.
What are we talking like Brazil?
No, like
Um
Kazakhstan.
oh shit, yeah. Like I've seen Borat. I don't want to go there.
Um, they have a really weird economy slash government. So the way they do
Kazakhstan
things,
does.
yeah, the way they do things is like it's all kind of run by the state, but it's also like capitalist because it's like
Okay.
they have, like I said, these state funds that like, all right, so we're going to invest. They actually invest directly into companies. So it's like a private equity company, but it's the state.
Interesting.
So when a company does great, the state actually
State does great.
makes money
Interesting.
and it's not taxes. But at the end of the day, if it does bad, all they've done is provide a service or something. Maybe they sell it off and they take a loss, but they still have tax revenue coming in. So they can then invest in they actually invest like it's not through grants, it's not anything like that. It's straight up like a private equity company. And then because a lot of times there'll be like a fund that off splits, someone got rich off of that or somehow. So they'll create their own fund, but like you all have to kind of kiss the ring.
Right.
And like you're all beholden to the government and they get a slice of the pie. So it's like really weird where it's like we control it, but we're promoting capitalism and individual growth and we're going to fund you. And if you do well, the country does well. So it's this weird, I'm caught between like that's not right and hey, that's right. Like
Yeah, that's really unique.
yeah,
I don't even know where I would stand on
I've never
it.
seen anything like that, but they do a lot of because their country is like, did you know Russia leases their space station from Kazakhstan?
I did not know that. Kazakhstan owns the space station that Russia's got cosmonauts in.
Because remember, they used to be part of the Soviet Union. And
Yep.
when they
And
left, they forgot to take their space station with them.
wow.
So they have like 100-year lease on the space station that's in Kazakhstan. Russia does. So cosmonauts, they come out of Kazakhstan.
Wow. I didn't know that. Interesting.
Like
How did you
it's
forget a whole space station?
like it's a really weird setup over there, but they have like the least amount of people per square area of like countries. It's like a very low amount. I forget what. Like there's only 18 million people in a huge country.
It's like the biggest country landlocked, at least I know that.
Yeah.
It's like just massively large. Yeah.
And they only have 18 million people in there, which I know 18 million, that's a lot of people. But when you look at the
For the
area,
size. Yeah.
yeah, it's like we have 330 here or something.
Yeah.
And there's still empty space. They have 18 million in like an area that I don't know exactly how big it is, but I know it's probably at least half the size of the US with less than a tenth.
It's 1,000,000 square miles.
So only 18% of the land is if one person takes up 1% of that, like,
Yeah, seriously.
that's that's ridiculous. Each person could have wow. I'm not going to get in math because I'm
Yeah,
an
yeah.
idiot.
Yeah,
I was
we're
about to
not in
say
school right now. We're
a
not
million
doing math.
miles. I'm like, that's not right.
We're not doing math and we're not fact checking.
Yeah,
Fuck that.
but they have all these like, they have a lot of mineral wealth, like lithium, magnesium, like all of these things that are needed for basically a lot of things, and they're trying to exploit that. And they're also trying to get their country back on track. Like they're putting a lot into agriculture because they still need to feed people, but they don't have a lot set up. So it's really weird.
They don't
It's
have like, yeah.
because when they lost all their infrastructure when the Soviet Union left, so they're like,
Yeah, they were basically suckling at the teat
yeah, like what do we
and they
do
got cut
now?
off entirely.
Yeah, so now they have to make like they're making chicken processing places, which you don't think about, but for us to have Tyson chicken, we need chicken processing plants.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's a big market for sure.
Yeah, so they're doing like a lot in agriculture, which we're in, because we have drone technology, and those are huge in agriculture now because less people per amount that you take care of.
Isn't Kazakhstan? I think Kazakhstan's a big oil place too.
I don't know. I think you might be right though.
That wouldn't surprise me. That whole region seems flush with oil. So
They just have a ton of resources, to be honest.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's an interesting place. I was just looking up the capital city, Nur Sultan or something, whatever
Nur
that is.
Sultan.
It does. Yeah, it does look pretty cool, man. Just from pictures, it looks pretty cool. Maybe it's worth a shot.
Hmm.
They got a
But
big spiky thingy with a ball in it, some big glass buildings. I mean,
I just know myself in like new situations. I have a tendency to go, oh, I'll go over here, and I'm just like that. I'm like,
uh,
I have that
the
like
clueless
typical,
tourist,
yeah, that
the
typical fuck with me face, uh,
hey, pick my pocket
yeah,
kind of look to you.
or just beat me in the back of the head with a steel pipe, and
Yeah, maybe don't then.
yeah, well, I gotta go. Well, I kind of do hope I get to go because it's one of those things. If I survive, I'm gonna be like, all right, that was fun. We're not doing it again, but I got to see a lot of the world.
But it's
Um,
like Kuwait. Yeah, who's gonna say that they've been to Kazakhstan?
mhm.
Pretty much nobody.
So it's like we're gonna
And
hit
even
there.
it's
Oh, sorry.
yeah, it's not like a destination spot,
Hmm.
but like people say, "Oh, I went to the Maldives or whatever."
Hmm.
Well, you say I went to Kazakhstan, and they go, "So what?" But it's still kind of cool though. I
Hmm.
mean, you saw a part of the world that not a lot of people can say that they've been to. So I think that holds something. At least for me, it does.
I do want to hit London again. I think we might if things work out. Because we're basically going to meet like investors. So we're definitely going to hit the Gulf countries, Oman, um, UAE, a few other places, um, Kuwait, and probably I probably won't go on the ones to the US to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, maybe Canada, but we're doing like a trip basically, but an O or a very large oval. They're
Oh,
gonna hit the
like
yeah,
all the way around the globe. Oh, that's cool.
yeah, because
That's a cool trip.
they just gotta hit like a lot of the Gulf, and then they're like, well, we'll hit the US on the way back. That way we're just getting closer and closer. And that's it.
That sounds cool, man. Well, if you do find yourself back in London, you got to let me know. We'll hit up some
Oh,
pubs.
I definitely will. We'll hit I'll get a few of the guys I know from Oxford and they'll show us the really nice clubs.
Oh, true. Yeah, they'll have the ins better than I do for sure.
Well, like, have you ever heard of Otis Elevators?
Dude, every elevator I've ever been on is an Otis. I'm pretty sure.
The head of Europe, um, Otis Elevator, lives in London, and very good friend of mine from that class. We've never actually met in person, which I think is weird, but we Zoom all the time.
Welcome to 2021, man.
Oh, dude, he was telling me that like he was lucky with the lockdowns because he got um I gotta give me one moment. I'll be right
Oh
back.
yeah, do your thing, man.
Hello, everybody. Due to editing, we've had to break this up into three different segments. So this is the end of segment number 2. If you want to hear the rest, continue on to segment number 3. Bye.